Good morning, everyone. Happy to Slay and welcome to the Rise and Slay Talk Show. My name is Rochelle Slay, or Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. So come on in. Please let me know where you're streaming in from. Give us your name so I can give you a shout out because you decided to be here live with me on this conversation that we're going to have today, which is a juicy conversation that you don't want to miss. So go ahead and share with people that you may think they need. Because we're going to be here and going to settle in for just a little bit. So as I uncover what I am finding out more and more and more about image. Okay. Now, I'm a strategic advisor and an image consultant, actually a certified image consultant, y'all. And I'm working with leaders at their pivotal moments. So just think about people who are launching their business, those that are leading a nonprofit, maybe even stepping into a public facing role. And I'm help them align how they show up with the level of influence they're called to operate in. All right. So as a speaker, author, and talk show host, and not only this show, but also the show on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is called the Slay to Success Talk Show. I don't just teach this work, okay? I live it. I partner with professionals, especially women professionals who are ready to be taken seriously in rooms that matter and to show up like the authority they already are. Okay, so here on the Rise and Slay talk show, we talk through all of that plus style, presence, and power. Okay, so those words are going to be used throughout these conversations. So I just want us to kind of start thinking about what does image really mean to you? Okay. I know a lot of people think it's just about the clothes. It has a part. But when I talk about image, I talk through appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and your digital presence because this is a holistic approach on how you are being perceived by people either that you know or people that you don't know. And we start with the word slay. Okay. That is the mindset that we take for everything that we do, anything and everything, which means we are killing it. We are dominating it. We are nailing it. We're on point. We're impressing greatly. And we're dreaming big, not small. All right. And we're working hard until we own it. It is also an acronym that stands for the SLAY method that I created, where it is all in the vein of increasing your visibility. It is a strategic framework. It is strategic identity, leadership presence, aesthetic authority, and your narrative power. So I'll be putting this into the banner here for you to see so that as we are talking through these different areas, you're going to start to think of where am I misaligned at? Okay. Where is it that people aren't truly getting what I am trying to share with them? So let's talk about elevating our image without losing our identity. All right. Um, Elevation is about refining the expression, not abandoning the essence. Okay. So elevation requires change. If you're trying to elevate from one level to the next, it requires some type of change. I'm not talking about a full makeover, but there may be some adjustments that you have to make. All right. Adjustments in the way that you show up in your appearance, adjustments in your behaviors or your body language, communication skills, your online presence. There will be some changes. Okay. I have elevated several times in my previous career. And so, for those that are new and just coming in for the first time, I served for 30 years in the Air Force. And as I was serving in these highly coveted roles, I had to change the way that I showed up. All right. I had this thing about my face. Okay. I would make expressions when I didn't agree with something, when I was questioning someone, when I heard something that I was like, why are you saying that? And I had to be very careful about how people were reading me as I went to these different roles. And so that was one of the things, and I continue to work on them because it's not like it is something that I've mastered completely, but I'm aware of what I'm doing. So it requires some change, but too many of us are resisting, okay? Because we believe that growth means that we have to lose ourselves. All right. We're growing, we're elevating, we're moving forward, we're improving, we're creating the right circles, we're going to different types of events, we are meeting new people. We are doing a lot of different new things. And then all the while, you say you losing yourself. All right. So you're just going to do what you've been doing and then expect the results that you're looking for. Hey, Queen, how are you, Maritza? How are you? Thank you so much for dropping in on the Rise and Slay talk show. I hope you are doing well, my queen. Thank you so much for being here with me live. Um, so the real issue isn't transformation. The real issue that I continue to hear and I'm working with my clients on is misalignment. Some of us have outgrown our current image. Okay. Whatever we are projecting right now, we have outgrown that. We have outgrown our communication style and even the way that we are showing up, but we're still operating from an outdated version of ourselves. Okay. And that gap, that's what people are feeling right now. That's what's limiting your influence. Good morning, Queen. How you doing, Chevy? Welcome to the Rise and Slay morning show. You know, I had to move it from 10 to 11. Got some things going on, but made the adjustment so that way I could be here and be able to share with you all this morning. So thank you, Queen, for being here live. All right. So people want influence. They want to generate this um, this concept. They want people to see them as an influencer in their own right. I'm not talking about being a social media influencer or anything like that, but in the circles or the communities that you're in, and know that the information, ideas, and opinions that you are sharing are positively influencing those around you and possibly influencing decisions that are being made. All right, wherever you're at. So that's what people want, but they're not willing to make any types of adjustments. All right. So most people protect their habits. All right. We talk about habits all the time. All right. What is we doing on a regular basis, consistently, that are getting the driving the results that we are looking to have. Right. And so we always have this mindset that we want to be able to get this type of influence, but we're not willing to do the changes. Hey, Queen, how you doing? Welcome to the Rise and Slay talk show. So glad to see that you're here joining us live. All right. I hope you're doing well, Queen. I know you doing big things. Okay, doing big things, and that's the beauty of the community that I'm a part of is women like you, Chevy, Maritza. We understand the impact, okay, and the influence that we're making. We want to get it right. Okay. We're showing up in a way where people aren't going to be questioning what we are doing with the purpose that we were given and called to do. So our identity, all right, is who you are, is who we are at our core. All right. Our values, our standards, our leadership philosophies, and our image is how that identity is translated and perceived. But the problem is most people protect those habits. Okay. And they're not protecting the identity. They'll say things like this. So this is what I'm hearing. This is just how I dress. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or they'll say, this is just how I talk. I'm like, okay, that's not really identity. When you say this is just how I do, this is just who I am, or whatever. And okay, let me just preface this. You are trying to get to the next level. Okay, this is talking about next level. The level that you're at right now, yes, that may work for where you're at, but where you're trying to go on, which is what I always speak to, it may require for you to make some adjustments. So it may require for you to update your wardrobe. Okay, it may require for you to update your language. It may require for you to update your tone, right? All these things that you say you want, but then when I ask, like, hey, okay, so what are we going to start with? I'm like, oh no, I'm just going to keep things the same. Like, okay, I knew when I transitioned out of the military, that was one level of success. That was just a system that I was able to navigate, find the success in that, right? Now, in the civilian sector, I started a business, and, I had to really think about how I wanted my business to be reflected, right? How I would like my name to be dropped in rooms and that I wasn't in, and what they were saying about it. Okay. Did I quote unquote fit, okay, into their plan with the aligned opportunities that I was looking for? So let's just, take some things out of our vocabulary when we say things like, this is just how I dress, this is how I roll, this is how I talk, and they just won't have to take it. Okay. And and then that's fine for if you where you're at and you want to stay where you're at. All right. But those that are seeking a little bit more, we've got to be able to elevate our expression of just a tad bit. And yes, with the essence that we are looking for. We have to make adjustments to create opportunities. Absolutely, Queen. All right. And we all have, right? We've pivoted. We've seen a different uh, uh, industry or different field that we want to operate in, and we've had to make those adjustments. All right. So this is what it is. And yes, we can't keep doing what we're doing if you want to get where you're going. We cannot. Okay? We cannot. If we operated, and I could say this for, and Maritza, she definitely supports, women veterans, but it's a lot to deal with when you have been in an environment for so long that you found the ways to be successful, right? We knew what to do, how to say it, where to say it, who to talk to, all those different things. But when we transitioned and we all decided to be entrepreneurs or community leaders in our own right, that comes with another way of doing business. And so we have to be able to be open for what can I do to show up without losing my identity. Now our identity, like I said, is our core values, our standards, our leadership philosophies. And so we have those, but then now we're looking for what's that next elevation. Okay, what's that next level up of those core values, standards, and leadership philosophies. Okay, so the most powerful leaders understand this. Okay, the most powerful leaders that I know, that y'all know, we've seen them on TV, we've seen them in work environments, we've seen them in communities. They evolve how they show up so it matches where they're going. Okay, they evolve. Okay, let's talk about Dr. Michelle Obama. Okay, let's just talk about her for just a hot second. I know a lot of people were like, oh, here she goes again. But I'm just going to tell you, the way she started was not the way she ended when she was in the White House with the president, okay, with her man, with her husband. You seen the evolution of where she was taking it, all the things that she was doing, what she was talking about, how she was promoting, different communities. You could see it. So please, all right. Oh, hey, Aunt Teresa, how you doing, Queen? You just coming home from doctor's appointment. Okay, well, I hope you get a good bill of health and that you're doing well. And so happy to see you here joining us live on the show. Okay, got family in the house, y'all. All right. So this is a list of things, again, from conversations, being partnered with women, going to different events, being with community. Here's what I'm hearing. This is where these pain points are happening. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just flesh it out to you. People fear losing their authenticity. All right. They're like, oh, okay, this is how I am. Okay, I got everything in here, right? And they don't, they don't want, you know, to change how they show up because they won't feel like themselves. All right. If if I wear a necklace, because I've seen, because y'all, this is one of my signature accessories. All right. It's a double layered pearl set. And people will say, I won't feel like myself if I put that double pearl set like you got going on in here. Da, 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 da. I'm like, well, it's not for you. You have to find what works for you. All right. But you're not going to lose your authenticity if you buy something to this effect or something different that's unique to you. But what you're really saying is you tied your identity to comfort. Okay. You're comfortable with what you're doing right now, and you have a fear that if you put on, I don't know, let's say you put on a suit that is a little bit elevated, and you're like, oh my goodness, like everybody's gonna look at me and they're gonna be thinking, well, what is she doing? Look, I guess I'm just not in that space anymore where I feel like I have to get permission from anybody. The authenticity is going to show up because it's not just the clothes or the accessories, it's my personality. All right. It's my aura, it's my energy. Like all those come into play with our image and our identity. Okay. So Kim says her evolution blessed me and helps me visualize my own in this chapter. It has. I think it has inspired and created like this, like a whole new vision for what we want to do, right? It is such incredible. I just absolutely love to see her because what she's saying now and what she's looking now is completely different when she was in office. She has elevated into spaces where she truly is connecting with more people, right? And she's doing impactful work more than what she was doing when she was in the White House, because again, there may be some limitations there. And she's still evolving. Okay. Yes, Queen, she's still evolving every single time I see her. And so that is what, you know, I'm speaking to, as how we can get there. And you're not going to lose your authenticity if you decide to, evolve on how you show up so it matches where you're going and not where you've been. All right. Then the next one I'm hearing is you're still seeing yourself as you were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Okay. Things have changed. Look around. The environment has changed significantly. All right. A lot of people don't want to get on social medias and do lives and do TV talk shows and podcasts and all this stuff because they're fear of what people are going to say. They don't want to be judged. And, they're nervous. There's a lot of anxiety and totally understand that. But in today's world, okay, that's what this presence or these personal branding, that's a way to get your name out there and to be offered opportunities that you never even knew existed. So I don't see myself anymore. I used to, right when I retired, I was like, man, I would love to go back to year 10 of my service where I was clubbing it, y'all, and I had on all the fly clothes, and I was just walking around like, you know, I was all that and then some. I had a full head of hair. I was, you know, there was a lot going on for me. But reality is, okay, I'm in a different season of my life, and things have shifted, and yet and still, you still have to maintain relevancy in some forms of fashions, and that's what we have to research. That's what we have to discover for ourselves. So we cannot just sit there and say things like, I just want to be what I was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. All right, because that's unrealistic. And some of us, because I hear this all the time, I just want to, like be free. I just want to, like get up and go. I'm like, well, we got these kids. What are you talking about? Like most of us ended up having children. And so our lives are much different than what they were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Okay. Um, so then also, um, there is a lack of strategic intent. Okay, intentionality. Now, I talk about intentionality a lot. You will see that in my post, and I will put it in the big bold caps, intention or intentional, because some of us are not intentionally managing our image. And I have seen posts on there like people are in the trenches, don't have time to manage their image. This stuff is superficial. It's all surface level. It's like da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, so now you're reacting, okay, to environments instead of defining your presence within it. Okay, so you're just going to go along with the environment, and I tell you right now, we are off the rails. Okay. We are off the rails in so many different ways right now. So if you're choosing to react to the environments instead of defining your presence within it, that means that you're lacking strategic intent. And so that has to be, one of the things that we have to think through, because you're going to get stuck. And nobody wants to be left behind. I'm not trying to leave folks behind in my community, but some folks are just going to be getting behind because they just don't want to put themselves out there, or they don't want to manage. Is it image management? Oh, I don't need to do any of that. Well, things are changing. Okay. Like fast and quick. Then we have this inconsistent presence. All right. And we've all seen this. One day you looking polished and put together, and then the next day you looking a hot mess. Okay. Because you're not quite sure, right? And so I get commented about, you show up like this every day? Yeah, I do. It's like being in the uniform, but not. You know what I mean? Like I've created a system for how I want to show up, and I'm very consistent with this system. So when you see me, in person versus here online, I got all ready to be on the show. I didn't have, to do it. Okay. I want to say, but I'm trying to be a little bit, like, but I don't do that. All right. It's all or none for me at this point. So, and I also know that inconsistency creates confusion. And I don't want to confuse anyone. I don't want anyone talking about me in a confused manner and not knowing what I'm doing. And confusion actually erodes confidence, okay, in your leadership ability. So, yes, I'm a leader in my own right. I'm an influencer in my own right. And so I know people are watching me. I know people are studying me. I know people are uh, saying the things that I say. And that is a part of it because I wanted to build a movement. So we have to have confidence in what we're building. So this inconsistency of, okay, I'm going to be looking great today, but tomorrow you may not, it ain't going to look like this. Okay. We need to see what's happening with that. And I'm not saying you got to have a beat face every day. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But to look like you're energized, to look like you're ready, because you never know where these opportunities are going to come from. Then I also hear, okay, that there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of noise. Okay. So people are getting stuck on that. When you go on social media, all right, and you're kind of like doing your thing, I know people are like, they're way ahead of me and I just don't know. Like, I had this idea, I started this business, this nonprofit, or I'm going to go into a public facing role. I see someone doing it like they do it. And I'm over here, I'm trying to figure it out. And there's so that's a distraction. And as well as there's always these noisy, like signals that are happening right now. So we all are navigating different expectations. There's different expectations because this world is shifting with AI, with technology. Things are just going miles per hour. We could be in hybrid environments, right? Be online, in person, or both at the same time. There's a lot of reduction in structures and there's evolving norms. All right. What used to be the thing is not the thing anymore, right? So instead of leading with your image, you're trying to dilute it, trying to fit everything. And then you come to me and then you share this with me, and I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? And I know it's just misalignment. All right. It's misalignment. So we got to tighten this up across the 4 areas that I speak to all the time, which is in our appearance, does our visual presence reflect the level of responsibility or does it reflect your level of comfort? All right. That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Does your visual presence reflect the level of responsibility or is it reflecting the level of comfort? All right. Next question is, are your actions actually reinforcing authority or are they reinforcing familiarity? Third question, do you sound like the level you want to operate at? And lastly, if someone searched for you today, put your name into the Google search, right? Will it sound or would it present like you are a leader? All right, because that's where we're at right now. All of us are leaders in our own right. And sometimes we think we getting it all right until we start to really do the deep dive. And then we ask ourselves, where did it go off? And I'll just say that. So elevation is a decision. Everything starts with a decision to become intentional in every dimension of how you show up. Because when your image is aligned with your identity, you're going to remove doubt before it's even formed. You're going to command respect. You're going to become memorable for the right reasons. You're going to position yourself for opportunities before they're even announced. You're going to stop explaining yourself, all right, and start being understood immediately. This is what influence looks like at a higher level, all right? So you're not being asked to change who you are. You're being called to represent it at a higher level, all right? That's what I want you to focus on right now. And if your current image doesn't match your next level, it's not authenticity, it's resistance. Okay. You're resisting to do what you can do to make sure that you get the results that you're looking for. And the ones who rise are the ones who refine, the ones who align, the ones who understand that how you show up is not superficial, it's strategic. So I want you to take one honest look at yourself this week. And where is your image outdated? Where are you holding on to habits that no longer serve your leadership? Because elevation doesn't start with opportunity, it starts with a decision. Okay, y'all. So that has been the Rise and Slay Talk Show. Now, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but we are at the 30-minute mark, and I know a lot of us got a lot of things to be doing for today. So today we talked about elevating your image without losing your identity. And we talked about the 4 pain points, if you will. People are fearing of losing authenticity, an outdated self-perception, lack of strategic intent, inconsistent presence, and external pressure and noise. All right. So we've got to tighten up the 4 pillars: the appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our digital presence. And when everything is aligned with our identity, we are going to remove doubt and we are going to attract the right opportunities instead of chasing them down. Okay, y'all. So I want to thank, let's see here, who we had today: Maritza, Chevy, Kim, Aunt Teresa. Thank you all for being here with me this morning on the Rise and Slay Talk Show. And I will see you on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Slay to Success Talk Show for a Slay Amazing guest. Okay, so you don't want to miss that. So go ahead and put that on your calendar so you don't miss it. And I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.